Have you ever felt like life was throwing everything at you? Bills, heartbreak, endless responsibilities. And love was the last thing on your mind? That's exactly where Emily, a single mom in a small Massachusetts town, found herself. Her days were a blur of doctor visits, school runs, and sleepless nights, all while carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders. But then, in the most unexpected place, something, or rather someone, changed everything. Welcome to Whisper's Story, where we unravel tales of hope, heart, and the quiet moments that change lives. Today's story is one you won't want to miss, because it's proof that even in the midst of turmoil, love has a way of finding us when we least expect it. Emily Thompson's kitchen was her battlefield. At midnight, the small house in Willow Creek, Massachusetts, was quiet except for the tick-tick-tick of the clock above the sink. She sat at the scarred oak table, a fortress of bills and medical forms spread out like enemy lines. Her chestnut hair was pulled into a messy bun, strands escaping like her fraying nerves. At 38, she felt older than her years, worn thin by the relentless grind of single motherhood. 3 years ago, her ex-husband Mark had walked out, leaving her with 2 kids and a mortgage, and a broken heart when she found out about the younger woman he'd traded her for. Now, her son Jake, 10, had juvenile idiopathic arthritis, a diagnosis that hit like a sucker punch 6 months back. Her daughter Lily, 7, was the sensitive one, always watching her mom with those big hazel eyes, picking up on every unspoken worry. Emily was a high school English teacher, a job she loved but didn't pay nearly enough to keep up with the mounting costs, doctor visits, meds, and a roof that leaked every spring. Tonight, the numbers didn't add up. Again. She rubbed her temples, willing the headache away, when a small voice broke the silence. "Mom." Lily stood in the doorway, drowning in one of Emily's old Red Sox t-shirts, her blonde curls tousled from sleep. "I had a bad dream. Can I sit with you?" Emily's heart softened. "Of course, sweetie." She opened her arms, and Lily climbed into her lap, a warm little anchor against the storm. "Everything okay, Mom?" Lily mumbled, nestling closer. Emily hesitated. She wanted to say yes, to protect her, but settled for truth wrapped in comfort. "I'm just figuring some stuff out, but we'll be fine. Promise." Soon, Lily's breathing evened out, and Emily held her a little longer, soaking in the quiet love. Morning came too fast. Jake shuffled into the kitchen, his sandy hair sticking up, his movements stiff. "Morning, Mom," he said, easing into a chair with a wince. "How you feeling, champ?" Emily asked, flipping pancakes she hoped would cheer him up. "My knees hurt. Fingers too, puffy again." Her stomach twisted. "Did you take your meds?" "Yeah. Not helping much." "We'll talk to Dr. Peterson," she said, forcing brightness into her voice. Inside, she was drowning. The copays were killing her, and Jake's pain was a knife to her soul. At Willow Creek High, Emily tried to focus on her sophomore English class, but her mind drifted. During lunch, her friend Sarah, a bubbly math teacher with a pixie cut, slid into the seat across from her in the staff room. "You look like you haven't slept in a week, Em. What's up?" Emily sighed, poking at her salad. "It's Jake. His arthritis is worse, and I'm barely keeping my head above water. I feel like a failure." "You're not a failure," Sarah said, fierce. "You're a rock star. Hey, have you thought about a support group? I hear there's one at the community center. Parents dealing with stuff like this might help." Emily frowned. She didn't do support. She was the fixer, not the one who needed fixing. But Sarah's earnest look chipped away at her resistance. "Maybe," she muttered. That night, after tucking the kids in, Emily scrolled her phone and found it, a support group for parents of kids with chronic illnesses, Thursdays at 7 p.m. She grabbed a Sharpie and circled the date on her calendar, her hand trembling slightly. Thursday rolled around, and Emily parked her beat-up Honda outside the Willow Creek Community Center, a squat brick building with peeling paint. Her stomach churned. She almost bolted, but Jake's tired face flashed in her mind. She walked in. The room smelled of stale coffee and hope. A circle of mismatched chairs held a dozen people, some weary, some chatting like old friends. A woman with warm brown eyes and a graying bob approached. "Hi, I'm Karen, the facilitator. First time?" "Yeah." I'm Emily. My son has juvenile arthritis. Welcome, Karen said, gesturing to a seat. Emily sat next to an older woman who smelled faintly of lavender and gave her a nod. The meeting started, stories spilling out, tough diagnoses, small wins, tears. Emily listened, a knot loosening in her chest. She wasn't alone. Then a man spoke, his voice steady but kind. I'm David. My daughter Mia has JIA too. Been at it 2 years. It's rough, but we've found some good doctors. He was early 40s, with dark hair and eyes that crinkled at the corners. Emily perked up. Specialists. She needed that. Afterward, people mingled, and Emily screwed up her courage. David. He turned, smiling. I'm Emily. You mentioned specialists. Could you recommend any? Sure thing. There's a great rheumatologist in Boston. I'll send you her info. Got your number? They swapped contacts, and as Emily left, the autumn air crisp against her cheeks, she felt lighter. Maybe this was a lifeline. Maybe she'd find more than just doctor recommendations here. Parenting is a wild ride, especially when life throws curveballs. Have you ever reached out for help when you were sinking? What did it teach you? The next Thursday, Emily was back at the community center, her nerves quieter this time. The room buzzed with familiar faces, and she spotted David across the circle, sipping from a paper cup. He caught her eye and waved. She smiled back, surprised at how easy it felt. Karen kicked off the meeting, and when it was Emily's turn, she stumbled through her intro. Jake, the arthritis, the exhaustion. People nodded, no judgment, and it hit her. This might actually work. Afterward, David wandered over. Hey, Emily. Did you get that rheumatologist's info? Yeah, thanks. I've got an appointment next week. Good call. Mia's been with her a year. Total game changer. He paused, then added, I'm David, by the way. Guess we didn't do full intros last time. She laughed, a little rusty. Emily. Nice to meet you officially. He was 42, a widower. His wife lost to cancer 4 years ago. Mia, his 9-year-old, had JIA like Jake. It's been a ride, he said, scratching the back of his neck. But you figure it out, right? Trying to, she admitted. He offered to walk her through some insurance hacks he'd learned, and soon they were texting. First about doctors, then little things like Jake's latest flare-up or Mia's school project. One night, he suggested coffee after the meeting. No pressure, he added quickly. Just easier to talk without the group noise. Emily hesitated, then said yes. They met at Brood Awakening, a cozy spot in town with mismatched mugs and the smell of cinnamon wafting from the counter. David wore a flannel shirt, sleeves rolled up, and ordered a black coffee. Emily got a latte, cradling it like a lifeline. So, he said, leaning back, you're a teacher? Yeah, high school English. I love it, but it's not exactly rolling in dough. He chuckled. I get it. I was a stay-at-home dad when my wife was alive. She was the breadwinner. After she passed, I started freelancing as a graphic designer. Flexible, but the hustle's real. Emily nodded, sipping her drink. Mark, my ex, he left 3 years ago. Another woman. It's been messy. David's eyes softened. That's tough. I'm sorry. She shrugged, but his quiet understanding loosened something in her. They talked about the kids, Jake's love of baseball despite his joints, Mia's obsession with drawing. An hour flew by, then 2. When they parted, Emily felt a spark she hadn't expected. Not romance, not yet, but connection. Back home, she stared at her phone, David's last text glowing. Let me know how the appointment goes. She typed back, will do. Thanks for the coffee. A beat later, anytime. Over the next few weeks, their friendship grew. He'd call to check in, his voice a steady hum through her chaos. She'd vent about Mark's latest half-hearted attempt to see the kids, and David would listen, never pushing. One night, Lily caught her smiling at her phone. Who's that, Mom? Just a friend, Emily said, too quick. Lily smirked, unconvinced. At the next meeting, David grinned as she sat beside him. You're becoming a regular. Guess I am, she said, and when their knees brushed under the table, she didn't pull away. Sometimes, the best friendships sneak up on you in the hardest moments. Have you ever met someone who just got you, right when you needed it? What was that like? Spring crept into Willow Creek, the trees budding green, the air sweet with possibility. Emily's life was still a tightrope, Jake's flares, Lily's questions, Bill's, but David was a steady hand on the other side. Their coffee dates became routine, a lifeline after support group nights. Then he upped the ante. Picnic this Saturday? He asked one evening, casual but hopeful. Mia's been asking to meet Jake and Lily. I figure the park's perfect, fresh air, no pressure. Emily's gut fluttered. Sure. The kids could use some fun. Saturday dawned bright, the park alive with kids shrieking and dogs barking. Emily spread a blanket near the duck pond, Lily chattering about her new glitter pens, Jake tossing a baseball despite his stiff hands. David arrived with Mia, a lanky girl with his dark hair and a shy smile, clutching a sketchbook. Hey guys, David said, setting down a cooler. This is Mia. Mia, this is Emily, Jake and Lily. Hi, Mia mumbled, then perked up when Jake offered her the ball. Soon, the kids were tossing it around, Lily giggling as Mia sketched a duck mid-flight. Emily watched, her chest warm. David flopped beside her, pulling out sandwiches. Turkey or PB&J? Turkey, thanks. She took a bite, savoring the normalcy. This is nice. Yeah, he said, his gaze lingering. It is. They talked, easy, deep stuff. He told her about losing his wife, the gut-wrenching year after. She opened up about Mark's betrayal, the trust she'd buried. The kids' laughter wove through their words, and when Mia ran over to show off her drawing, David ruffled her hair with such tenderness Emily's breath caught. Later, as the sun dipped low, the kids chased fireflies. David and Emily sat close, shoulders brushing. He turned, his face inches from hers, and time slowed. She could have kissed him, wanted to, but Lily's shout broke the spell. Mom, look. Emily laughed, pulling back. Duty calls. David grinned. Rain check. Her cheeks burned. Maybe. But doubt crept in that night. She liked him, too much. Her best friend Tara, a no-nonsense nurse with a wicked laugh, saw it when Emily spilled the story over wine. Girl, he's into you. Take the shot. I can't, Emily said. Jake's worse. New treatment's crazy expensive. I don't have room for this. You deserve it, Tara shot back. Don't let fear win. Then Jake's flare hit hard, landing him in bed for days. Emily was a wreck, and David showed up with soup and a list of fundraising ideas, support group tricks he'd learned. You're not alone, he said, squeezing her hand. One rainy afternoon, after a brutal doctor's visit, they sat in her living room, kids asleep upstairs. She cried, and he held her, solid and safe. When she looked up, his lips found hers, soft, real. Her heart raced, but panic followed. David, I'm not ready. He nodded, no push. I'll wait. You're worth it. Letting someone in after heartbreak is scary as hell. Have you ever held back from something good because the timing felt off? How did you decide to move forward, or not? Summer blazed into Willow Creek, the humidity thick, the tension thicker. Emily and David were dancing around something real, stolen glances, late-night calls, but she kept one foot out the door, scared to leap. Then life threw a curveball. David called her one muggy July night, voice tight. I need to talk. Can you meet me? They sat on a bench outside Brood Awakening, the streetlights buzzing. Mia's doc found a clinical trial in California, he said. New treatment. Could be huge for her. But it's 6 months, maybe more. Emily's stomach dropped. You're moving. I don't know. I have to, for her. But I don't want to lose this. He gestured between them. She swallowed hard. I get it. Mia comes first. So do Jake and Lily, he said. But I love you, Em. I didn't mean to say it like this, but... love. Her voice cracked. She felt it too, but hearing it broke her open. David, Before she could finish, her phone buzzed. Mark. She ignored it, but he called again. What now? She snapped, answering. I heard you're dating some guy, Mark said, smug. I'm filing for more custody. You're too distracted to handle the kids. She laughed, bitter. You've barely seen them in years. Try it, Mark. He hung up, but the threat lingered. Back home, she told David, who hugged her fierce. He's bluffing. You're an amazing mom. Maybe, she whispered. But you're leaving. They talked late, raw and honest. He had to go, Mia's chance at a better life. She couldn't ask him to stay, wouldn't uproot her kids. Go, she said finally, tears falling. We'll figure it out. He left a week later, and the house felt empty. Mark's custody play fizzled. He backed off when her lawyer called his bluff, but David's absence was a hole. They texted, called, but the distance gnawed. Love and duty don't always play nice. Have you ever had to choose between your heart and what's right for someone else? How did you find peace with it? Fall painted Willow Creek in crimson and gold, and Emily soldiered on. Jake's new meds were working, small victories, but her heart ached for David. Their calls kept them tethered, his voice a lifeline across the miles. 3 months in, he surprised her, showing up at her door, Mia in tow. Trial's going great, he said, eyes bright. I missed you too much. She hugged him, laughing through tears. Over coffee, he dropped the bomb. I got a job offer in California. Permanent. Come with me, you, Jake, Lily. We'll make it work. Her breath caught. Move? Leave her job, her town? David, Think about it, he said. I love you. I want us together. She wrestled with it for days. Tara said, go for it, Em. You've earned this. But fear clawed, new schools for the kids, Jake's care. Yet love pulled harder. She finished the school year, and they planned. David moved back temporarily, helping her pack. They'd try California, together. The kids were nervous but excited. Lily already planning Mia's room decor, Jake asking about baseball teams. The last night in Willow Creek, they sat on the porch, stars above. We're really doing this, she said. Yeah, he replied, lacing his fingers with hers. Whatever comes, we've got this. It wasn't perfect, but it was theirs, a messy, hopeful start. Love can mean big risks and bigger rewards. What's the wildest leap you've taken for someone, or yourself? Did it pay off? And so, as the leaves turned gold in Willow Creek, Emily's journey came full circle, not with a fairy tale ending, but with something even better, a messy, hopeful beginning. Her story reminds us that love doesn't always arrive when we're ready. Sometimes, it shows up right in the middle of our storms, daring us to take a chance. If this tale of resilience, heart, and unexpected joy resonated with you, we'd love for you to stick around. Here at Whisper's Story, we believe in the power of quiet moments and the stories that linger long after they're told. So, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It's your ticket to more whispers of life, love, and everything in between. Thank you for being here, and remember, sometimes, the best stories are the ones we never saw coming.